Hello, everybody. Welcome to Excuse My Language, but I am your host, Drew Claiborne. And yeah, welcome back to our podcast. It's been a minute. I haven't done a podcast in a little while, but this one is special. This one is really special. So I went to see Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, and I wanted to give my first impressions, my reaction, my thoughts on that documentary, and I've got to say it's one of the best depictions of spinal cord injury and what it really means to live with paralysis. So that part was really, really cool. My initial impressions are just that they really didn't shy away from showing the ups and downs, the ins and outs of paralysis, which is really cool because all three of his children that still run the Christopher Reeve Foundation are in the documentary. I think those are all three of his kids. Yeah, he only had 3 kids, and 2 of which were from one woman, and then 1 child with his latest wife, Dana Reeve, and whose name is now on the foundation because she was such a rock. She was such a profound person. So the Christopher Reeve Foundation, obviously Christopher Reeve was really focused on the recovery aspect and research and donating money to find a cure. And it's like the word cure is tough when it comes to paralysis because, as you can imagine, anything nerve related, it's like, okay, if I go from a quadriplegic to a paraplegic, is that cured? Like, that's such a huge improvement. You could almost call that a cure. And a lot of the things he worked on was really about research, the cure, and just about getting out of that chair. So it was really tough to see that he wasn't able to accomplish that, which is so crazy because actually my physical therapy suit I wear at night, which I'll put a link to right here. If you haven't seen the suit I wear, the Axial Bionics wearable therapy I do, that actually was one of the things Christopher Reeve did, or that Phil Muscio, the creator of Axio, he actually made a suit for Christopher Reeve back in the 90s, and it was like, that was one of the things he did. He did a lot of different stuff to try to be healthy. So to see him pass away from an infection, or in the documentary, they kind of they glossed over how he died, which was kind of strange because it was like, okay, was it a pressure sore? Was it a bone infection? Was it a UTI? Was it pneumonia? Like, we don't know. And the guy in the documentary who kind of talked about it was his wife Dana's best friend. And he was like, what did he say? He basically said, here, people could look at it and say it was a pressure sore, but it wasn't that. It was more so his body gave up, which honestly is possible with spinal cord injury. If you don't know, so like your heart can only take so much. And if you're not moving, your heart is doing all the work. And to do all the work for so many years, it basically will give out at some point. So for me, being paralyzed, the fact that I do my wearable therapy and get muscle contractions so many times at night and during the day, and I have muscle spasms and everything, that all contributes to helping my heart, helping support moving the blood around my body without it all being on my heart. But it is the reality of the situation that my heart is doing majority of the work most of the time. So I understand what he's saying, and I do think I know people who have passed away because of that, but because like at some point your blood pressure will just keep getting lower and lower and lower until you finally pass away and go into cardiac arrest. I don't know if that's what it was. They kind of glossed over it. But something I wanted to show is just the trailer right now. And I just wanted to kind of react to it. And yeah, let's watch it. Watch it together. So here's the Superman Christopher Reeve trailer.
Everybody's looking for a hero. I am not a hero.
That was a part. I played the part. I'm not that man.
Hands down, he was Superman from day one.
I realized that if I could pull off this part, it would change my life.
John Houseman said, Mr. Reeve, it is very important to become a serious classical actor. Unless, of course, they offer you a load of money to do something else.
He convinced me when I first met him that he would fly.
Doing things with my dad. It was all about activity and action. Writing.
So that's something really awesome. They really went into the Superman role and how he got it and what it was, because it's such a profound thing. I feel like everyone with a spinal cord injury, a lot of the ones I meet, they are Superman to those around them before their injury. And it's such a weird coincidence, because it's like some people's accident happened from a car accident. Some things just can't be planned or aren't even from high activity. But it's like, I don't know. I don't know if it's like that's like one of the divine things about spinal cord injury, is that pretty much everyone I meet with a spinal cord injury, they all are so active before their injury in some sort of way. So yeah, and they're also like the Superman in their community. For me personally, I was so active. I played football, basketball. I was in the marching band. I did guitar. I was in ultimate frisbee. I was in so many activities at school, and most of the time I would just be up at the school. I would drop in on like jazz band and all types of stuff. And it's like, for a lot of people from the outside looking in, I was the Superman of that community, because it was like, I don't know, I always wanted to experience everything. And yeah, so for me to have my injury when I did, and it's not just me, I see it. I see this correlation with so many people before their injury. So yeah, it's just kind of cool to see how they broke it down and what he was before his injury.
Bikes, playing soccer, skiing.
Carpe diem, Al! My dad was very competitive, and he didn't necessarily slow down.
We said goodbye, and he gave this wave. That was the last time I saw him on his feet.
Mr. Reeve currently has no movement or spontaneous respiration.
Superman, crazy. Just that simple little thing over the horse.
I'd ruined my life and everybody else's. I won't be able to ski, sail, throw a ball to Will. Won't be able to make love to Dana. Maybe we should let me go.
She came flying in, and she just...
So this is something I really want to talk about. It's just about the ups and downs of paralysis. I wanted to name this podcast Post-Traumatic Growth, because that's really what it is. When you have such a traumatic event like this, you go down immediately, and that's expected, but it's the reaction after that that really defines you. And for a lot of people with spinal cord injury, it becomes post-traumatic growth, and that's a term I learned from my therapist. It's basically whatever level of or not sanity, but like wherever you're at emotionally at that whatever your baseline emotional state is, and then something traumatic happens. You go down, and it's like, okay, after you go down, where are you gonna go? Are you gonna stay down? Are you gonna go back to your baseline, or are you gonna go above your baseline? And for a lot of people after their injury, they go above their baseline, or at least the ones I fuck with. You know what I mean? Like, the people I really fuck with are those that go above their baseline. You have something like this happen, you start to look at life a little differently. You start to look at people differently, and you start to see the value of people. You start to see and cherish life a different way, because you see how low it is. And so to see after his injury what it really was, and what he just said right here was how he ruined his life and ruined everyone else's life around him. So initially you go down, and you go down low, and I can tell you I did as well. I had a lot of self-worth issues for a long time after my injury. And I know something I always underlyingly thought after my injury was that I was okay with dying and passing away, just because my parents, I wanted to see them move forward and continue living life. So I always thought, okay, if I die, it's okay, because at least my parents and my family and everybody around me will at least get to stop worrying about me and get to go live their lives. And it's a naive thought early on, because it's like, if you go and ask any of them, they would rather see you live in the state that you're in and live with you rather than live without you. And that's really what you see here.
Yelled, "I love you. I love you." And then she said the words that saved my life. "You're still you, and I love you."
He and Robin were such good friends because they could match each other.
Robin also had struggles that he dealt with his whole life, and I think that they both were aware of darkness.
Brother Chris is fighting like crazy. When you find people who fight like that but still keep their humanity, that gives you great hope.
That is tough, because I can feel him, but he can't feel me.
It must have been hell for my mom, too, knowing what she had lost.
I felt I needed to do something, not just for myself, but for everyone else in the same condition.
The fact that Superman was in a wheelchair and was willing to go public with it was huge.
Help is on the way.
The Christopher and Dana Reeve Paralysis Act.
People are literally walking because of him.
What is a hero? My answer was that a hero is someone who commits a courageous action without considering the consequences. Now my definition is completely different. I think a hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles.
I wouldn't have missed this for the world.
Man, and it's one of those things that I really love the documentary. I was grateful that I got to go see it in theater, because there are a lot of parallels between me and him, and not just me and him, but so many people with spinal cord injuries. And even in the documentary, they show a girl that he cherished, and he made a movie after, because after his injury, he continued to direct. Once he overcame that down, when he came back up, he continued to do what he do and started directing some movies. again. And one of the movies he made was about a girl who went to Harvard after her injury. And it's like so many of us just keep pushing, just keep fighting. And yeah, I really encourage many of you to go see that documentary because it really shows what it is. And it's like one of the things I wanted to talk about was just about how we give after our injury. And I can speak from my own experience that I give in so many ways. I give value to those around me in so many different ways. I may not receive the level of love I hope to receive. And just because, and I say that not in a sense that like those around me don't love me. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's just the fact that, so like we all have different love languages, the way that we give love and receive love. And so like the 5 different love languages, they're just physical touch, acts of service and giving to others, gift giving, quality time, and then words of affirmation. And when you have a spinal cord injury like mine, the primary ones that are easy to give and receive are words of affirmation, quality time, gift giving, even because I can go purchase things and give it to people. The ones that are difficult are physical touch and acts of service because people are intimidated by the wheelchair. It's hard for people to really come close to me, to give me physical touch. And so it's funny, my primary and secondary, so those that don't know a lot about the 5 love languages, you basically have a primary and a secondary. My primary is physical touch, without a doubt. And my secondary is acts of service. Like before my injury, I would always, or even now, after my injury, if I'm able to see like someone, something they need done for them, if I'm able to do it, I'm going to do it. Acts of service is huge. That's my secondary. But my primary is physical touch. And it's as hard as it is for other people to give it to me, it's even harder for me to give it to them, which is really frustrating because I can't like put my hand on their shoulder or hug them or there's no type of physical touch that I can really give unexpectedly or without verbally being like, hey, can I touch you? Or can you come close enough so I can, or like, it's weird and it's frustrating. So that's the part where my tank is just emptied a lot of the time, because as much as I'm able to give the other three love languages, I really am. The other 4, even acts of service, I'm able to give those things to people. The part that's really hard for me to give is physical touch, and it's frustrating. So my tank, so I'm constantly giving and giving and giving without receiving any type of fulfillment, and my tank gets pretty empty. And I kind of wanted to talk about just because of that, like what really fills my tank. And I can tell you right now, one of the primary things that fills my tank is my dog General. Yeah. Even for him, there's not really much physical touch there. Definitely not any acts of service. I don't think my dog is going to pick up my mail or do any acts of service for me. But that dog, my dog General, is special. So this is a picture of us back in college. It was snowy outside. we let him outside to go run around, and he just went out there and rolled around, and then he came inside, and that was the face he gave. And he just sits down and looks at you, and your heart melts. Yeah. And by far the best dog on the planet, the best dog I've ever had. And it's like, he's 12 now. He's slowing down, and it breaks my heart because I know that time is gonna end at some point, but he really fills my tank. And I don't know, I just kind of want to honor him for a moment, just because he fills my tank in a way that's really special. So, like, an example of one of these things, because he's always there. He's always there. Whether it's this 2020 image of us at the bottle drive, we're taking a picture at the bottle drive, he's there. And then this image of me in bed, and I'm trying to touch my nurse that night. She put my arm over him and called him into bed, and put my arm over him. Still couldn't feel him because I can't really feel my arms. And yeah, that was him with me. He's always there. And we're having a nurses barbecue honoring all of our nurses. He's there. And then we go up north, and I'm like trying to stand up in my chair, practicing standing in my brand new chair, and look at the corner, he's there. And then I finally got rid of my Lion's Den room right as they were getting good. But yeah, you look at this picture, I'm repainting my room, and he's there on my bed. And so many examples over and over. I get dressed up for Halloween, and he's there. I'm getting him dressed up. I go for a walk, and we have our new dog, trying to get him trained on the leash on my wheelchair, and General's right there, teaching him as well, showing the new dog the ropes and how to really walk on my wheelchair and everything. And General's right there, and it's just the consistency of always being there. Alexa, stop. That's funny. Impromptu. I had a reminder starting. But yeah, just that overwhelming consistency. G's always there. And it fills my tank just knowing he's always there. So it doesn't necessarily, as much as I want touch and need touch and crave touch, just the consistency of being there is really what I value and what I need. And he fills my tank. He really does. And I can honestly say it's the same with all the people around me. They fill my tank, and just the love and how much they love me and want me and care about me, protective of me, because especially my family and nurses, they are so protective of me and my situation. And at the same time, I can just say, even after a spinal cord injury, no matter how low you get, you have so much to give to the people around you. They are there because they love you. And my dog is there. He feels the value of me. He loves me so much. I take him everywhere I go. I'm always walking with him. Even though I can't pet him, I can't, really, I can't feed him myself. Although he recognizes, still, even a dog recognizes when I am telling others to do stuff for him. He really does. Every time. When I say, let's get going, let's take your collar off, he sits down and just stares at everyone around. And he's like, all right, take Alexa, stop. he stares around and he tells her, hey, almost like he's telling people like, hey, Drew told you to take my collar off, so take my fucking collar off. And it really is. And it's like my outlook and spirit now at life, it transcends what you would think your value is to the people around you, to the world around you, to society. They'll make it look like wheelchair people and people with paralysis or people with disabilities don't have anything to give to the world. And I'm here to tell you it's the complete opposite. If you really look at us, we have so much to give. I know my outlook and spirit on life. I feel like my overall superpower and really what brings me value to this world is I can see the beauty in every single person around me. I really can. I can see the value of everybody around me. And it's like when you go from a contributor to a spectator, where you're constantly, or not even spectator, but more so observer of everything around you, just because I can't always put my hands on everything and really get in there. I'm always observing interactions and people, and I can just tell you, I wish people got it. I wish people could really see the big picture, because I feel like I see the big picture of life. I see the big picture of humanity, and it is so, so beautiful and so special. Any of it. And there's no reason for us to be petty with one another. There's no reason for us to be angry with one another. Obviously, those are natural emotions we all have. But it's not worth it. It's not worth it, because when you can see the big picture, I look at people all the time, especially my nurses, who are always bickering with each other or just being petty. And it's like, you guys don't get it. You just don't get it. We're all here for a reason. So I'll conclude with just saying, I hope each and every one of you are able to see the value you give to those around you. I hope you can take today to stop looking at yourself as less than or having less self-worth than anything less than profound, because you are here for a reason and you are here to make a difference, even if it's something as simple as the interactions you have with every single person around you every day. And I'm loving my opportunity, and I'm gonna grab a hold of this opportunity while I'm here. I don't know how long I'll be here, but I'm gonna follow Christopher Reeve, and I am gonna fight my ass off to get out of this chair. I'm gonna fight my ass off to give to everyone around me all the time and make sure that the legacy I leave behind me is something that will be told for ever, really. And something not even to be told, but something that will be felt, because people will take what I gave them and start to give it to others. I love you guys. Thank you for listening to this. And that's excuse my language, but see you guys later.